Welcome to this very special episode of Property Guide. Happy Diwali to you and your families. I hope you have a wonderful year, the year to come. Now, we do know, of course, that it's a very interesting and challenging property market that we're looking at. We know that builders have offers on right now for various things that you can get for free. But the question that we're asking, is it time for you to use this opportunity to buy property? Those of us sitting on the fence wondering whether or not we should be pulling out our checkbooks, is this that opportunity? Guests joining me on this discussion, Anuj Puri, Chairman and Country Head of JLL India in the studio, Dharmesh Jain, President at MCHI, CREDAI, and of course from Nirmal Lifestyle joins us from his office, and Om Ahuja, CEO Residential at Brigade Group, joining us from Bangalore. Gentlemen, happy Diwali to all of you. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful year ahead. Thank you so much for spending time with us on this wonderful day. If you have an opinion at home, of course, tweet it out, hashtag good time to buy real estate. Anuj, happy Diwali to you. We've asked you this question before in the past. Is it a good time to buy? We've noticed the numbers of the third quarter in terms of sales are starting to look better in pockets. Affordable housing, the bracket anywhere between 1 CR is starting to move in terms of sales. We've also heard from banks they're seeing interest. We've heard from websites that they're seeing more and more people come onto websites and do searches to buy homes. Tell us where you're reading this market at this point. Is it a good time to buy?
So happy Diwali to you as well, Faye, and all the viewers and all the people in the studio. It certainly appears to me that the market is bottomed out now, and the reason I say is that last week there was a phenomenal launch of a project in Mumbai, and it's a Grade A developer, very well located. Right sizing of the apartment, right ticket size. And when I say right ticket size, I mean, it's not like it's a sub 1 crore, the right ticket size.
You know, I won't let you go without naming the developer, right? If you're going to say it's launched, we know which one you're talking about. You might as well come out and say the name.
No, very happy to do that. Very happy to do that, Faye. It's the Oberoi Realty's project in Borivali. They had bought Tata Steel land on the Western Express Highway in Borivali, and that is what they launched. And I must admit is that personally, I was also surprised with the offtake. I mean, there are about 550 apartments that were sold in 3 days. And this 550 apartments obviously is not at 1 lakh rupee or 2 or 5 lakh rupee that they have, that he's opened the booking at. In the next 30 days, 20% of that has to be paid, and an average ticket size of about 2.5 crores. So for 2.5 crores per apartment, 20% of that to be paid in 30 days, and you're selling 560 apartments in 3 days. I mean, that certainly to me sounds that if the price is right, project is good, of a good developer, and the total ticket price is within the range of that particular community, I think the buyers are now out there. I think with that particular statistics, I wouldn't find many people who would be able to say is that the market hasn't bottomed out. So I think it is very timely you asked me this question, because if you would have asked me this question maybe 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have been as precise in my answer. What gives me encouragement and confidence, and the data is backing, is scheme like this, where we've seen is that there is a huge amount of interest by the buyers. And last point that I would say is, Faye, I don't think these were investors. Investors in this market, I think, are still not wanting to come and buy real estate. There's enough, for them in non-real estate markets. I think these were end users. These were people who believed in the brand, in the product, in the pricing, and they are the ones who are coming out and buying.
All right. Dharmesh Jain, happy Diwali to you. And what better gift on Diwali than to hear Anuj Puri tell you that he believes the market is bottomed out and sales are actually moving. And it's good times are going to come back. Tell me, from a builder's point of view, we've seen a couple of things change over the last couple of months. Inflation has come off. Input prices are coming down. Commodities are slowing. Does that give you a little more comfort in terms of the finances? Also, with those interest rates coming off as well, the way you're looking at this market at this point, with buyers coming back in, are you able to offer enough on the table? Do you think that this sort of festive season offers that we're seeing are possibly the best we're going to get?
So, first of all, again, very happy Diwali to all the viewers, and let's hope we have a fun-filled Diwali and a Diwali where we look forward to the new year with great expectation. On your specific question, Faye, I think we just had the property exhibition, and I must say the response was probably the best ever that we've had. During the exhibition, approximately 350 apartments got sold, and we normally have lead period that the following 30 days additional sales happen, and we normally track those sales also. From whatever leads that we have, and we've been talking to various developers, we expect about 1,000 flats to be booked just from the exhibition alone. So it's an extremely encouraging sign for the market, and I think there is every reason that we can look at markets positively going forward. So I expect the next 2 quarters to be very good for real estate.
All right, I want to bring in Om Ahuja. Om, you're in a very, very interesting market. You know, when the rest of the country was slowing down, we didn't see Bangalore slow down at all. And now when things are turning, Bangalore tends to chug along at its own sort of insulated space. Tell us what you're reading in the Bangalore market at this point. So far, and Dussehra tends to be slightly bigger in the south than Diwali. Tell us what you've seen in terms of sales, interest from buyers. How have the last month or so played out for you?
Happy Diwali to you, Faye, and all the viewers, on all the people in the studio. I would say we had an excellent month last month, basically in terms of considering that we had the Dussehra here, and Dussehra is a very big festival in South. We did a pre-launch of 3 properties in Bangalore, one in Kanakpura Road, one in Devanhalli, and one in Whitefield, and we have received wonderful response. And this confirms that there is a lot of interest in the pre-launch, and there's a lot of interest in Bangalore. If your property, as Mr. Puri said, if your property is rightly priced and rightly sized, there is huge market waiting to grab it. And Brigade celebrated 29 years of existence last month, and we had a celebration for it, and that really helped in bringing a lot of home buyers into market and taking the advantage of pre-launches in Brigade.
All right. Anuj, you in the beginning, you talked about a couple of things. You said if the builder is right, if the project is right, if the location is right. I want to examine each of those one by one. Does it actually seem that this time around in the market, when buyers actually, right now, slowly, gingerly coming back into the market to sort of test the waters a little bit, it does seem like the kind of builder or the reputation or the brand of the builder outweighs all of the other things. That if it's a builder who has a reputation for delivering on time, for delivering quality, for delivering whatever was promised at the time of pre-launch, he seems to be outweighing all of the other considerations. Is that what you're noticing as well?
It's a very good point, Faye, and I think it is a very important point as well, because I dare say, Faye, that everybody is going to come out of the market, which was about, in the last 18 months, because market is good and it's going to get better, I think. But Faye, a very important point, I don't think everybody is going to come out of this market, because unlike in the last previous recessions when the market came out, for example, in the first quarter of 2009, everybody came out. Whether it was a good developer, bad developer, medium-sized developer, small developer, big developer. I don't think so in this time, as the market is going to start recovering, you're going to see everybody come out. And the reason for that is that there have been a lot of wrong things that had been done by the developers. The guys who had done those wrong things are the ones who are going to get caught out. The guys who have been very disciplined in their approach of delivering to the consumer what they had promised and have been very disciplined on their financial wherewithal are the ones you're going to start seeing will continue to progress, and the ones who were not as disciplined will be left on the wayside. The buyer is not willing to buy everyone's stock. The buyer is looking of who have delivered before and to the quality, to the time, and to the price that they had suggested at the beginning of the project is what the buyer is going to go out and buy. So you're absolutely spot on this.
All right, we're going to take a very quick break, but the takeaway right now from this conversation so far is that certain builders are seeing customers come back. So if you're sitting on the fence, you have to be really, really, really picky about the builder that you're going for, but it's still a buyer's market. So if you move in time, which is now, you might actually get great value. But like I said, everything else aside, be super picky about the kind of builder that you're willing to spend money on. We're going to come back after the break and talk more about how to find the right builders and the right location and what's the right price. That's on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching Property Guide on ET Now. Thank you for staying with us. Happy Diwali to you and your family. I hope you're enjoying your Diwali holidays. But we're asking that big question. Is it the right time to buy property? Should you use this opportunity that you're getting during the festive season to go out and cut that deal? Dharmesh, you have a very interesting offer or an ROI on one of your projects. Explain to us how that offer works, and are you seeing an interesting reaction from the market, from customers to that offer?
So very interesting response way. I think our entire sales team wanted to take away the uncertainty from the mind of the buyer in the pre-construction phase, and that's where this offer was given. An exceedingly good response from the customers, and we got better response than expected. Obviously, the interest rates happened in between, and that helped. But one of the factors, building on what Anuj was saying, one additional factor that I would like to mention is that over the next 6 months, I see dramatic improvement in the regulatory environment also. I think huge amount of effort is right now going into simplifying the permission processes, and we'll start seeing results in the next few months, and in the next 6 months, I see a lot of positive happening in that direction as well. So in general, you will see a far better compliance scenario from the developer perspective also. Because obviously it is important that the developer is efficient, but there are a lot of systemic issues as well, and which contribute to delays in projects. So I see dramatic improvement on that aspect also. And as I said, I'm very excited looking at the next 6 months to 1 year from the regulatory perspective.
All right, now let's bring in Om as well. Om, there's a third angle to all of this, especially if you're looking at the Bangalore market. One of the things that customers need to worry about, apart from right price, right location, right builder, is water, electricity, roads, traffic, that sort of thing. Are you seeing also sort of customers being selective at this point about the kind of neighborhoods or locations or civic amenities that they'll have access to when they buy?
Well, certainly the buyer always looks at the locality first, and then comes the developer, and then comes the other aspects of it. I guess it's not that much as it's shown in the national media that Bangalore is going through a mess and there is too much of problem here. I don't think so. I'm a Bombayite who's relocated to Bangalore, and I find Bangalore's traffic far better than Bombay's traffic. I think somewhere it's being overplayed. There's a lot more positivity in the market, and we see with this recent interest rate cut, and a lot more things which are happening in the NASSCOM. NASSCOM's recent report has suggested that exports, software exports specifically, by 2020 will go from $180 billion to $350 billion. And Bangalore currently contributes 38% of those exports. If we assume that this 150 becomes 380, and this 38% remains, the kind of demand which is going to generate from Bangalore city is going to be amazing. I can only say that this is a best time where an A-grade developer product is available from 4,000 to 7,000 rupees per square feet in Bangalore city, which is not the case in any part of India.
All right. At the risk of disappointing the other two panelists on the panel tonight, I moved from Bangalore to Bombay. My heart will always remain in Bangalore, so it worries me a great deal when we don't have enough, water and electricity in that city. Anuj, the other interesting thing that we've noticed,
Not fair.
Well, you can have Om's heart. He's from Bombay. So one of the things that we've noticed very interestingly, and on this channel we have a team of strong reporters who go out and find out everything there is to know about what's going on in our markets, and they've picked up stories about the fact that the various development authorities across all of our cities, whether it's Pune, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, they're all considering auctioning land and large tracts of land. And I want you to, Anuj, just sort of step back and analyze that for us. Does that mean that if the government is now releasing land into the market, that they see some sort of demand, or is there demand coming in from the market that's sort of demanding land from the government? What's going on? Obviously something is changing, because we haven't seen land like this being auctioned now since 2008.
Very good point again, Faye. And it is true, we're seeing not only the local authorities who have possession of land wanting to come out into the market in the next sort of 3 to 6 months, but also a lot of corporates who had land, and this was excess land that they held on their balance sheet, wanting to come out and liquidate that land into the market. I think there are two reasons for that. One is both the local authorities and the corporates are looking at where the sale price, particularly in a sector like offices, have come up to the rentals, the sale. They're really coming up to the level which was the pre-2008 peak level. So clearly, if you were to look at those sale prices and then work backwards, the land is then valued at the right price in their mind. As a result of it, they believe now is the time to be able to come out into the market and sell that land. The second is that for a fairly long period of time, these corporates and the local authorities haven't come out into the market, and there is a need to be able to monetize that land parcels, whether it's the local authorities who need the money for their other infrastructure purposes, or whether it's the corporates who need those monies to go out and expand. And they've been holding that for quite a while. So that is the time that they are now believing is for them to come out and liquidate and be able to utilize that proceeds for infrastructure or for their own growth. But again, I would put a caveat to that, Faye. Not all lands will sell in this market. Just like what we discussed earlier, that not all developers will sell their products. It's going to be those who are good. Similarly, in land, it has to be squeaky clean. It has to be a land where approval is not going to be an issue, title is not an issue. It has to be well located. That's where you're going to see a fair amount of interest coming in. Also, in those land parcels, we're seeing from the demand side, not only the developer community coming, but also the international funds supporting the developer. I mean, Om will bear it out. Their company has gone out and acquired 2 large parcels of land. On both occasions, they've been backed by institutional sovereign funds to go out and buy land. But those lands were only where these were corporate dispositions, because the fund who was backing them knew it was a clear, clean, right title, and approval was easy on those parcels.
All right, so now I'm going to come to my favorite part of the show, where I start asking slightly uncomfortable questions. Om, I'm going to come to you first. If you've done a big launch and you managed great sales, people of Bangalore are listening right now, where are the next launches going to come up from Brigade? What can we look forward to? What have you not told the media about yet in terms of plans for the company and the launches?
Well, Faye, we are a listed company. I'll have to abide with the listing regulations of India. SEBI, basically, I would not be able to share a lot more details what I can. But certainly in the media, what Mr. Puri said, we have taken a large land parcel in Chennai, which is an Aerolac factory. And the second part of land parcel we took over in Bangalore was Brookfields. This is a headquarter of Brook Bond in the past for Hindustan Lever, which divested to us. And the third one, which happened last week, was UK in India, which is again a listed company, which basically we could get into a JD arrangement with them. So these are large land deals which we could partner and get into action mode. Well, we are looking at a big launch in Chennai. We are looking at big launches in Bangalore city. More than 4-5 launches we're looking at next 8 to 10 months. And the big one which we're looking for is Hyderabad.
All right. Tell me very quickly, the Brookfields land that you've acquired, what are your plans for that land? Is it going to be purely residential? What sort of residential construction can we look forward to?
Well, I would say at this point of time, it's at the design stage. It's at the master planning stage. There will be a sizable portion of SEZ there, and we are looking at seeing how we can accommodate other components into the whole land parcel.
What are the plans for Hyderabad now?
Hyderabad, as of now, Faye, we are looking for very large. We were looking at basically building an integrated township in Hyderabad. Like we have in Bangalore, we have developed more than 4 townships in Bangalore, integrated townships. Something similar we're trying to bring in Hyderabad and Chennai.
All right, Dharmesh Jain, same question to you, but I have one more slice to add to that, which is basically we've seen that builders have not had room to increase prices now for nearly 2 years, mostly in Mumbai, and plus we have discounts. So from where you are looking at the market, and I want you to answer purely as a builder, looking at the books, if you see good sales, like Anuj was predicting, happen over the next couple of months, at what point do you think builders will start becoming confident enough to begin inching up the prices?
I think January next year is what you will see enough traction in the market where developers, based on at what stage they are in the cycle of their projects and overall company cycles, you will definitely see some strengthening of rates around Makar Sankrant, so that is 14 January onwards, is what I feel. And on new launches, again over the next 6 months, we have 3 major launches coming in. We will be launching our project in Thane. We will be launching one more phase in one of our projects in Mulund, and we will be launching an entirely new phase in Kalyan. So these are 3 on the residential side. We've just hired JLL to do our leasing for the phase 2 of the mall, and we are very, very excited about phase 2 of Nirmal Lifestyle Mall, and that as well. We are expecting to lease out that in the next 6 to 9 months.
All right. Anuj Puri, now if we look at the markets, and up till now, every time we would circle back to Bangalore because it was the strongest market we were looking at, followed by Pune that was doing really well. If you look and you pick up for what Dharmesh just told us, obviously if the values are low, there's more headroom for growth. But we also want to keep a track on where the infrastructure is going, because if I have the train, the metro, the road, the flyover, and the job creation, that's where we're going to see the most interest and the most activity. So if you're looking at the 4 big cities or the 5 big markets that we normally look at on these shows, where do you see the most interest at this point, and which market do you think is going to do the best?
Happy to answer that, Faye, but if I was just going to take a step back, and I just want to qualify what Dharmesh said, is because I think Dharmesh made a statement on the rates going up. That's Dharmesh Jain, because he's a
As a
financial
representative of the industry.
no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is it is Nirmal Lifestyle who's going to look at it. My request and recommendation to the rest of the developer community will be is let the momentum continue to roll, let the momentum of sales continue to go up. I don't
For how
think.
long? But if you say let the momentum continue
My guess
to
is
roll,
at least 12 months.
At least 12
At
months.
least 12 months, Faye. And they can continue to increase the price. For example, where Dharmesh is today, he can increase the price because his projects have launched and they're gaining momentum and the construction is coming up. He can do that. But I don't think so that should be taken as a representation for the whole industry.
So Dharmesh, Anuj in the beginning of the show gave you your Diwali gift and now he's taken it back. He said the market is going to do well, and don't increase your prices for the next one.
So again, Faye, I thought these questions were individually directed.
No.
And I do agree with Anuj that if you ask me for an industry recommendation, I would want stability for the next 6 months. I wouldn't go out up to 1 year, but I think 6 months, I think all of us should look at a stable period, and from there on, you can probably decide further.
All right, from there on you can decide further. But Anuj, if you consider it, if today I decided to go out and buy a house, assuming I don't have the builder and the specific project in mind, it does take about 4 months or so to narrow in, to sort of get the home loan going, to get the clearances, get the paperwork together. So it would still be a good time then to start looking, if not anything else, because if you want to catch this window that you're talking about between the next 6 months to the next 1 year, I should at least start my search at this point, right?
Absolutely correct, Faye. So you should start your search, but I'm not saying that tomorrow morning you will wake up and the price will have gone up. You would have missed the bus. You have missed the bus on the office side, because on that we've seen consistently every quarter between 1 to 3% price rise happen over the last 15 to 18 months. So clearly, that increment in the price has happened. Is on the residential, not as yet. I think you've absolutely correctly elaborated. Now is the time for you to go out into the market, start doing your search, start doing your homework, and then hopefully in the next 1 or 2 quarters, you will be ready to go ahead and do your buy.
All right.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, please give me the recommendation.
Yes,
on the
that's right. I will. And it is not the top 4 or 5 markets, which every time that we speak about. I mean, within those markets, definitely there'll be micro markets. Definitely there'll be projects, whether it's Brigade's project or Nirmal Lifestyle's project or the Oberoi project that we spoke.
I was worried you're just being nice to the people on the panel.
No, not at all. I am nice to them. Yes, absolutely, Faye. I would say is Hyderabad, to my mind, is really a city which I feel in the next 12 months you're going to see the growth coming in, great infrastructure, great economic development, great government at this moment in time who's very proactive to business, and there is still a lot of land that is available for development. So I would say is...
and values are very, very reasonable.
Very reasonable, and Faye, in the last 3 to 5 years, there has been little activity happening in there. So, a city which has got superb infrastructure and very little economic activity, little real estate activity is probably the right time to look at it now.
All right, so you have all of that. Remember, be super picky about the builder, the location, the reputation of the builder we're talking about. Find the right price. You have about 6 months, maybe a year to find the right price. Everybody says it's a good time to at least get off the fence and start looking. Gentlemen, happy Diwali to you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Diwali with your families. And we look forward to a strong year coming up on this channel, where we have you on to have these conversations on a regular basis. If as a viewer you have questions for any of the 3 of our panelists, feel free to write to us. Our email ID is on your screen. Twitter handle is on the top of your screen as well. It will be our pleasure to hear from you. Happy Diwali. Thanks for watching.